Before there were skyscrapers, before there was Hollywood, before there was a military that could end the world twice over, there was nothing. No country, no flag, no name, just a vast, wild land, home to millions of indigenous people who had lived there for over 15,000 years before a single European ship appeared on the horizon. This is the story of how 13 small colonies on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean became the most powerful nation the world has ever seen. In just 250 years, this is Amabo Chronicles. In 1607, the British planted their first permanent flag at Jamestown, Virginia. Then came more, 13 colonies in total, stretching down the Atlantic coast, growing bigger and more ambitious with every decade. But Britain wanted taxes, and the colonies refused to pay without a say in their own government. No taxation without representation. In 1775, the first shots of the Revolutionary War were fired at Lexington and Concord. A ragged army of farmers and tradesmen went to war against the most powerful empire on earth, and somehow they refused to lose. On July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed. Thomas Jefferson wrote it in just 17 days. 56 men put their names on a document that was essentially a death warrant if they lost. They didn't lose. In 1783, Britain surrendered. A new nation was born. 250 years ago, freedom was not for everyone. While the Declaration said all men were created equal, 4 million African Americans were enslaved on American soil, bought, sold, worked to death, building the very wealth that made America great. And as the country expanded westward, driven by what they called manifest destiny, the Native American peoples who had been there for thousands of years were pushed off their lands, massacred, and erased. By 1860, the country was tearing itself apart. The southern states wanted to keep slavery. The northern states said no. President Abraham Lincoln held the line. The Civil War, 620,000 Americans dead in 4 years. The bloodiest war in American history, fought on American soil, between Americans. In 1865, the Union won. Slavery was abolished. Lincoln was assassinated 5 days after the war ended. America was free, but the wounds never fully healed. Then the world came calling. In 1917, America entered World War I. In 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and America entered World War II, eventually dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki that ended the war in a single flash. What came next changed everything. While Europe and Asia lay in ruins, America stood untouched on its own soil, its factories humming, its economy exploding. The 20th century became the American century. Hollywood, rock and roll, NASA landing men on the moon in 1969, the US dollar becoming the world's reserve currency, Silicon Valley inventing the internet age. Then came the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, a generation that stood up and demanded that the promise of 1776 finally actually meant something for everyone. 2008, Barack Obama became the first black president of the United States. 143 years after slavery ended. 250 years, from 13 colonies with muskets, to nuclear weapons, space stations, and the most powerful military ever assembled. From a land that enslaved millions to a nation that elected one of their descendants to its highest office. From a ragged rebellion that had no right to win to the country that has defined every era of modern history. America is not a perfect story. It never was, but it is one of the most dramatic, most complicated, most consequential stories in the history of the human race, and it is only 250 years old. Whatever comes next, the world will be watching. This is Amabo Chronicles. Every legend has a story worth telling.